All right, what is going on, everybody? Welcome back to another video, another NBA playoff video. In this video, we're going to talk about a couple games from this week. We're going to talk about Raptors versus Cavs, Spurs versus Trailblazers, Celtics versus 76ers, Rockets versus Lakers. All of these are game fours, I believe, if I'm remembering correctly. We're going to break down the game a little bit. Some of these are a bit of snooze fest, so we'll breeze over them. Other ones are very interesting, and there is some scuffles and everything happening. So if you like what I have to say, like the video. If you have any opinions, comment it down below. And if you just like the vibes, consider subscribing. We're gonna start with Toronto versus Cleveland, and man, did this game get attention for all the wrong reasons. This game being the first game of the day, or was it even the first? It was something. It was something, right? Regardless of what game it was, whether it was the first game or the fifth game of the day, this game was ugly from both teams. It was, I don't want to say it wasn't enjoyable to watch, because it was enjoyable to watch, because it was just a matter of who was going to get hot at the right time. And oh my God, I'm getting a message. And anyway, before I was really interrupted, this game was interesting because both teams stunk it up. Both teams couldn't make a shot. It was an ugly watch. It was just waiting for somebody to get hot at the right time. And the Raptors eventually did. The Raptors won this game 93 to the Cleveland Cavaliers 89. They tied the series 2-2 heading back to Cleveland. And oh, wait, that message messed up my notes here. I gotta put my notes back up. Um, this game started off, for me at least. I was watching it, and the first thing I noticed was Brandon Ingram was forcing it. Brandon Ingram looked awful this game. This is one of the worser playoff games he's played, and he hasn't played that many playoff games. So, or even play in games for that matter, you know. This is one of his worst postseason performances. Um, if we look at the final box score here, Brandon Ingram was 6 of 23, 3 of 7 from 3 for 23 points in 36 minutes. By comparison, at the beginning of this game, Scotty Barnes looked marginally better, because Scotty Barnes is um, game was more predicated on getting downhill, getting in the paint, kicking it out, um, putting it in the cup, and doing all that stuff operating in the paint. Brandon Ingram is more of a falling away, falling forward, straight up just jumpers and stuff. Sometimes his layups are very good, but he started this game off shooting a hell of a lot of jumpers, and they were not going in, and it was ugly. And I like Brandon Ingram a lot, and it just did not look good. At one point, the Cavs were running a four guard lineup. I don't know if I talked about this before, or there was another team that did this. But the four guard lineup was like Donovan James, Max Juice, and like Sam Merrill, or like Jalen Tyson or something like that. Four really small, like small age players in comparison to the Raptors, who are a very big team. And Evan Mobley at the five for the Cleveland Cavaliers, and I didn't love those minutes. I saw what Coach Kenny Atkinson was trying to do, trying to get a little more juice into the offense, and I say it fared okay. I wouldn't run that again. I mean, depending on who your matchup is going to be in the next round, which would probably be one of either the Pistons or the Magic, um, if Cleveland makes it out of this series, you're gonna need to run a bigger lineup. And I know that's what they've been doing all year, but that small ball, it really didn't sit well with me. And then I don't know if the small ball was on the court by the end of halftime, but at halftime, Brandon Ingram hit a big shot to end the half, sort of shaking off the streakiness that he had, but still carrying it over into the next half of the game, which was unfortunate. Um, the third and fourth quarter were both defined by two really big players. Jamal Shed, who couldn't hit a lick but was playing really good defense, and Colin Murray Boyles, who I am a fan of now. When I did my draft stuff 2 years ago now, yeah, 2 years ago, I didn't particularly focus in on Colin Murray Boyles because the everybody knew what he was. And I was like, I can't provide any nuance to this conversation, so I'm not gonna cover him. I don't. I wish him nothing but the best. I think he's gonna be. I thought at the time he was gonna be a really decent NBA role player. This guy's a game changer. Colin Murray Boyle's game changer, and especially in the playoff sense, where if you need to lock in for 2 quarters or a quarter to win a game, defense, rebounding, effort. Colin Murray Boyles is your guy. He looked spectacular out there. Um, Came off the bench for 15 points, 5 of 11 from field goal. Did not shoot a single three. Had 10 rebounds as a guard, I believe. I believe he's a guard. 2 steals. Altered so many shots. Altered so many possessions for this Raptors team, and he's a big, big, big reason why this Raptors team ended up winning this game and closing it out in the way that they did, because of Colin Murray Boyles and Jamal Shed. Um, I'm trying to figure out because I don't remember their numbers. Who's that in the picture above? I can't even see his number, so I can't tell you. But both those guys defined the second half of this game. Jamal Shed doing it on both sides, a little bit of everything. And the Cavs are only up 6 at that point. I believe that was in the third. The Raptors applied pressure um, all third quarter coming out of the locker room, and then in the fourth quarter they gained the lead to start the fourth. And this is again when rotations switch and like players sub in and sub out. Brandon Ingram was in the game, and he really wasn't helping this Raptors team. He was hurting it a lot, and it got to the point where it was really ugly. And I came to the conclusion that Colin Murray Boyles was doing way more to get this win than Brandon Ingram was, just off everything that Colin Murray Boyles was doing on the floor, um, and Brandon Ingram was sort of taking away. Um, yeah, let's move on to the end of this game. Man, oh man. Let's just get to it. So at the end of this game, it was we won't say the last possession, but it was a last ditch effort to try to make this a competitive game into the final minutes, into the final seconds. Um, Harden brings up the ball, dribble, dribble, dribble. Um, Tries to get whoever was defending him off balance, doesn't work. Um, Sort of does like a step back or just like brings the ball, collects the ball, and tries to go up with it. And he's about to go up with it, and he throws a grenade, like a last ditch second of the shot clock to. He passes the ball to Donovan Mitchell. Donovan Mitchell misses the shot because he wasn't prepared. He thought James Harden was going to take it. We all knew James Harden wasn't going to take that. He misses. Donovan Mitchell does. Evan Mobley miraculously gets the board, um, kicks it back out to James Harden. James Harden, who is not known as a mid-range shooter, at least at this point in his career, shoots a mid-range shot, and it was off, and it was bad, um, and it did not look comfortable for him. He did not look like he was enjoying that moment. It was another moment playoff meltdown for James Harden in his long career. This is one of many. Um, at this point in the game, there were 11 lead changes and 9 ties. So that gives you an indication of how close this game was and how um, just a slugfest this was. Evan Mobley almost put back at the end. Looked incredible. Didn't go in. He probably was fouled on that shot, but they didn't call it. And then up 3, Cavs, no timeout. And then Mitchell, awful shot. Um, and then he goes into the crowd he shoots the ball. He like falls into the crowd and he's like a little banged up or whatever. Um, and then a bunch of stuff happens. The ball ends up in Sam Merrill's hands. It looked like a three to me, and the Raptors player were dragging him down. And they didn't call anything. They actually ruled it a 2-point shot, and then the series is 2-2 now. So that's that game. Overall for this Raptors team and this Cavs team, this was not playoff basketball. This was just ugly basketball. This is awful. It was interesting to watch because again it was like who's gonna get hot first, but at the same time it was like what the hell is going on? What are we doing here? Like this is a what is this? This is the 4-5 matchup. This is supposed to be one of the closer matchups, talent and skills wise, and both teams did not look like NBA teams the other night. They just did not. Brandon Ingram 23, RJ Barrett 18 looked a fair bit better. I mean the percentages aren't great, but at least he was moving well. He looked good. Jakob Pertl 10, Jacoby Walters as a starter 0 points. Oh my God, I want to try to say this name. Sandro Mamu Kelly Shvili. I think that's how you say it. 2 points. Jamison Battles 0, Colin Murray Boyles 15, and Jamal Shed 2. but he had 4 assists and 4 rebounds. Those are all Raptors players. And then moving on to the Cleveland Cavaliers, um, I'm gonna keep saying it because it bothers me, and I haven't said it in a while, but I'm gonna say it again. Why the hell is Dean Wade starting? Like for the Cavs, like just why is that still a thing that's happening? He doesn't. I don't want to say he doesn't do anything. He hits one 3 pointer, two 3 pointers every game, and then just doesn't just gets cardio in. And he literally made 1 3 this game, and did nothing else for the rest of the game. He had 5 rebounds, and he played 28 minutes. I don't know what Kenny Atkinson's obsession is with Dean Wade. I get like you need some juice off the bench, so you don't want to start Sam Merrill, you don't want to start Jalen Tyson, you don't want to start Max Strus because he's coming off an injury. Max Strus had 1 point, by the way. Um, you have so much depth though here. Like you have Larry Nance, you have Naquan Tomlin, you have Thomas Bryant, you have Craig Porter, you have Tyrese Proctor. Maybe the last two you don't want to play because they are a fair bit younger and they are guards and they are smaller, so you don't want to throw them out there and do the 4 guard lineup. Like I said, I didn't really like. But like if you switch Jalen Tyson and Dean Wade, and then you bring up like Naquan Tomlin to play like 4 minutes, 5 minutes, or like Thomas Bryant to play those 4 or 5 minutes, at the five, and then have Evan Mobley still at the four, or whatever the case may be. I feel like that would be better. I don't understand the Dean Wade thing. It's been a thing for like half the season now. He's an okay NBA player. I don't think he's bad, but like we when you're 2-2, you need to start switching up your rotations. You need to start doing because you can't just keep throwing the same thing at the wall and expecting it to stick because it hasn't been sticking. Um, in this game, talking about not a shootout but like a slugfest. Donovan Mitchell 20 points, 6 of 24 from field goal, 4 of 12 from three, 4 free throws though. James Harden 19 points, 6 of 14 from field goal, 2 of 6 from three, and then 5 of 6 from free throw. Evan Mobley 8 points. It felt like he should have had a hell of a lot more, but he was getting manhandled by Jakob Poeltl. Same with Jared Allen, 3 points, 15 rebounds though, and Dean Wade 7 points, 5 rebounds. Um, at this point, at this junction, what do the Cavaliers need to do? Because there's a lot riding on this. If you get bounced in the first round by, I won't say a far inferior team, but a pretty inferior team, um, we'll say maybe talent wise, maybe it's a 4-5 matchup, so maybe I'm hyping up the Cavs too much, but um, there's a lot riding on at least getting to the second round to the conference finals. Um, James Harden only has 1 year on his deal. He wants an extension this summer. He could walk in free agency. Donovan Mitchell is always in rumors of not being happy in Cleveland, even though he says otherwise to the cameras and to everybody in Cleveland. Um, I feel like if this does not go well, and hell, even if this goes seven, it takes 7 games for you guys, this Cavaliers team, to beat this Raptors team. That's not going to look great. And we said it when the trade happened. James Harden is not a playoff riser. He's a great regular season player. He's not a playoff riser though. There's like 1 or 2 moments in my mind that I can remember him being at least a standout in a playoff game. And one of them was when he was injured with the Nets and he was playing on one leg. He had a hamstring issue, and he at least went out there and tried. And then I think there was another time where Joel Embiid was out when he was with the Sixers and he put up like at least a decent game, like 25, 10, and like 15 rebounds or something. There were those 2 moments, and those are fairly recent. But I, I don't know what happens if you lose this series. I really don't. This Cavs team, at least to me, there are 3 teams that like I don't know what happens if you lose in the first round or the second round. You don't make the conference finals. It's the Cavaliers, it's the Knicks, and it's the Rockets. If something prevents you from making it to the conference finals, there is definitely an issue. There is definitely an issue, and there will be change. Um, I don't know how urgent of a change, but there will be a change. Um, this Cavs team has been it was grasping at straws at the trade deadline. That's where they made the James Harden trade. And again, the James Harden trade looks great in the regular season. Once you get postseason James Harden, it's not great. It's not good. And this is one of those moments. And Everybody, like I said, everybody knew. Everybody knew when James Harden had that ball in his hand, he wasn't gonna take that shot. He wasn't. And then he passed a freaking grenade to Donovan Mitchell, who wasn't having a great shooting night himself. So like those things don't mix well. And for a guy like James Harden to have 7 turnovers and only 8 assists, that's not a great ratio. And 2 rebounds, and 1 steal, and 1 block, and 3 personal fouls. It's not a great stat line for him. So yeah, let's move on here. Spurs versus Trailblazers. Um, right side of your screen right here. Top side is the Raptors Cavs game. Um, what more should I say about this game? This was literally a duplication game of Game Three, just with Victor Wembanyama playing. Victor Wembanyama cleared concussion protocol. I do want to note that he made some comments in his post game after this game about the concussion protocol and about some other stuff, and the NBA like muted him. Like in his post game interview, they literally just cut the mic because he said he was displeased with something that the NBA was doing behind the scenes, not clearing him for the concussion protocol, but eventually clearing him. Um, I don't know what that was about. That seems suspicious to me. I would like to know what Victor was upset about. Um, if the NBA is gonna make this guy Victor Wembanyama the star of this league and the franchise, the poster boy for this league, let the man speak his freaking mind. Don't cut him off. Victor Wembanyama is one of the most eloquent and one of the most thoughtful people in this league. And if he has something to say, let him say it. Who cares? And I know there are the powers that be that, um, like to keep things, in line with the NBA's, image and everything. But like if Victor wants to say something, let him say something. Like the censorship of some of the comments like that people want to make in the NBA about the officiating, about whatever, they should let they should be they should be able to do that because I think it's unfair to let the commissioner just stand up there sometimes and just say shit and then just cut off the players. The players are the ones that make the league. And if they're unable to say things that they want to say, guess what? They're going to go do it on other platforms where you can't censor them and where you can't find them. So the NBA being non-transparent and Victor wanting to be transparent about his concussion protocol and how he got back to playing this game, I want to hear it, and I hope we get some clarification on that because that really bothered me at the end of this game. But how we got to the end of this game is what I'm more interested in at this moment. And like I said, this was a duplication of Game Three. It was back and forth for the most part. The Blazers looked really good for 3 quarters. And then in the fourth quarter, the San Antonio Spurs turned it on. Um, the Blazers were jumbling up the Spurs' flow for 3 quarters. Drew Holiday continued his onslaught from last game. I mean, Drew Holiday this game had 20 points, 3 of 6 from three, 4 assists, 6 rebounds, 6 turnovers though. And for about like the first half of this game, the Spurs did not look right and everybody on the Blazers was lighting the Spurs up. And it looked like maybe this could be another series that was 2-2. And then we get to the second half, start of the third quarter. Luke Cornett catches a lob. And I ain't never seen Luke Cornett catch a lob. That guy moves like he's in quicksand. So he caught a lob. And I think that energized everybody a little bit. Um, Devin Vassell hit a huge three to tie the game. Um, they took Wemby off the floor for a little bit, and the Spurs were running a 4 guard lineup or a 4 small lineup with one center that I really liked. I liked this version of it better than the Cavs version of it, and they were hooping without Victor. And it took me a minute. I was like, wait, Victor's sitting on the bench, right? And they're either keep tying this game or keep going like 2 points, 3 points ahead, like 2 possessions, 1 possession ahead of the Blazers. And then the 2 lobs when Victor got back in that he caught energized the Spurs so much. And then you had Fox and Keldon Johnson both hitting big shots in the closing minutes. The Spurs absolutely turned up their defense, even without the Defensive Player of the Year, Victor Wembanyama, which is nuts to say that like they. I don't want to say they were equally as good without Victor on defense, but they knew the protocol. They knew what to do without Victor, and they did it in spades. Um, the Blazers, however, were not ready to call it a game yet, not ready to go home yet. Um, and there was some sloppy play by the Spurs at the end. It got choppy, and then some shenanigans ensued. Stefan Castle, bottom right of your screen, number 5, got into it with Blazers star Denny Avdia. Um, Stefan Castle made a shot under the basket, and he took the ball and shoved it in Denny Avdia's chest. And Denny Avdia took exception to that, and there was a little, scuffle, unwritten rule, or written rule in the NBA's case where you don't shove the ball in somebody's face after you make a basket. You place it on the ground and you let it roll on the ground. Um, but that I like that. I like that from Stefan Castle. Stefan Castle has always given me that he's that it. He has that it factor. He's that guy. And he just doesn't care who you are. And that's what makes the Spurs team great. There's no stop. There's no slow down. It's just go, go, go. And especially in this series where the Blazers are very physical and they have their moments where um, they just put the heat on you. You got Donovan Clingan hitting threes. You get Denny Avdia again down here. You got Drew Holiday doing all his stuff on defense and offense. You got Jeremy Grant, who I forgot was an NBA player till this series, um, giving you some valuable minutes. Um, Scoot Henderson, I'm riding for Scoot. I really am now, but this is a bad game. 0 points in a playoff game is ugly. That's ugly. That's something you don't live down. And yeah, going through the stats here. We'll start with the Spurs. Julian Champagny, 8 points, 3 rebounds. Victor Wembanyama, 27 points, 12 rebounds, 3 steals, 7 blocks, 4 steals. A monster defensive game for Wemby's first game back. De'Aaron Fox, 28, really turned it up when they needed him. Devin Vassell. I know it's the first round and we have to wait till the next couple rounds. Devin Vassell just hits great shots. He's a great shot maker. He really is. Stefan Castle, 16. We should call him No Back Down Castle. Take no prisoners, Castle. um, 16 points, eight assists. Harrison Barnes, 2 points. The Spurs didn't get a lot off their bench, but they got a lot from their starters, and that's all they needed. They got a little bit from everybody on the bench, but it was just like to pad the lead and stuff like that. Denny Avdia for the Blazers, 26 points, 3 assists, 5 turnovers, seven rebounds. Donovan Clingan, 5 points, 6 rebounds. This was a game where Blazers fans were not happy with Donovan Clingan, and they were happy that this is only the beginning for Donovan Clingan, and this isn't what Donovan Clingan is going to be for the next 5 years. Because this is one of those games you're going to look back on and be like, that was bad. Hopefully, it's not this bad ever again. Drew Holiday, 20. Scoot Henderson, 0, like I said. Jeremy Grant, 17. Then you got 8 from Shaden Sharp off the bench. Um, in a Spurs victory, 114 to the Blazers, 93. Now we move on to another game. One that I didn't take a lot of notes for because it was literally just one of those games where it was a first half game and then it was over after halftime. Sixers versus Boston. Game 4. Also, by the way, I forgot to mention, Spurs take a 3-1 lead in the series. Boston versus 76ers. Boston Celtics won this game 128 to the Philadelphia 76ers 96. Um, Boston leads the series 3-1, heading back to Boston. This was, again, another Jays game. Jalen and Jason Tatum, the only players besides Peyton Pritchard in double digits who had 32. This was also the Peyton Pritchard game. Dead middle of your screen, number 11. Um, these three is all you need to win a championship. You just need three people to win a game in the playoffs, and they got it. This was the return game for Joel Embiid. He played the first, what I have it here, first half of the first quarter. So he played 6 minutes, and in those 6 minutes, it became obvious that the Sixers were going to play a slower style of basketball because Joel Embiid was out there. And then it became a lot more obvious when he came back in the game um, that this was going to be a slow game for the Sixers, and this is not what they have been playing for the last 3 games, and even last 3 games, yeah. Um, and it threw everybody off. This was an awful game for the Sixers. Awful. I mean, Tyrese Maxey had 22, Paul George had 16, Joel Embiid had 26, but the rest of the team, was not great. And it felt like they were all walking through sludge. They were just trudging through this game, and it was awful. Um, Pam Pritchard heated up through the course of this game. Joel, I said at one point in my notes here, Joel is killing the Sixers. It was a tough watch, and I give Joel Embiid a lot of credit. Um, he um, he tries to play through everything, man. He's played through a broken like orbital bone in his face. He's played through stomach viruses. He's had the flu. He had the appendicitis a couple weeks ago, literally, and he got it worked on, and now he's back playing. I give Joel a lot of credit, but this looked awful. He I don't want to say he looked awful. It just the whole team just looked different and it looked awful, and it looked like he really maybe it wasn't time to come back in dead middle of a series that you're trying to win, that you've competed in, that you had a chance to tie it up, and you have to go back to Boston now. And I'll be very interested to see if he plays in Boston. There's a couple days in between this last game and the next game in Boston, so we'll see if he plays. But I'm not hopeful that he'll play. Well, actually am hopeful that he won't play, so the Sixers can actually have a game and they're not gonna get like 3-1 or 4-1. Um, And then at some point, I took a break from watching this game. I came back and the score was Sixers down 38-51. And I was like, yeah, that's pretty much the game. And in my notes here, I have, well, that was the game. Um, Sixers still trying to. What did I say? Sixers still trying to. Oh, still have the starters out, but they would have been pulled if it was a regular season game. Yeah, the starters were out there in the fourth quarter. They were only out there because it was a playoff game, and anything can happen in the playoffs. But yeah, not a great look um, for this 76ers team. So we'll breeze past that one, and then we'll move into the last one here. Um, the primetime game, the game of the night, in my opinion, the most important game of the night. Lakers versus Rockets. Um, I won't spoil the ending, but the Lakers were in search of their first sweep since 2010. That's the fun tidbit I did not know. Um, yeah, haven't swept anybody since 2010. I was not old. I was quite young at that point. Um, uh, the Rockets were trying to move the pace. The Lakers have done it better all series, though. It did pay off for them in the end. And even the announcer said you're going to hear a lot of the word effort, a lot of do or die. And that's what this game was for the Rockets. This game was all effort for the Rockets. And you could tell everybody was aware of that. They didn't want to tuck their tail between their legs and let the Lakers sweep them. Regardless of the sweep, um, there were some looming things before this game with Kevin Durant not being with the team, and then that was debunked. He was actually at this game. So there's always weird stuff going on with Kevin Durant and his teams. This was just the latest one. Um, Getting back to the game, though, the same problems hit the Rockets heading into the third quarter. Reed on defense was atrocious. He did have one really critical steal that I want to give him credit for, but the rest of it wasn't great. The offense was rocky, um, time and again. The cohesion on their defensive assignments was questionable at times, but they just kept haymaking the Lakers, just haymaker after haymaker after haymaker, just trying to go at them, and it paid off. Jabari Smith Jr. 16 points, Tari Eason 20 points, Alperen Sengun 19 points, Ahmed Thompson 23, Reed Shepard 17. Some of these percentages don't look great, some of them look better than others, but this is what I like to call, a lot of people like to call emptying the clip. They just emptied the clip in this game. They're like, we just have to keep shooting. Don't care about the percentages. Just put the ball in the basket. And that's what they did this game. The starters at least tried to do that. Aaron Holiday gave him 9 points as well, 3 of 5 from three. Josh Okogie hit a three, and yeah, this was an empty the clip, just empty the chamber, just go all out, just shoot the ball, just put it in the basket, and um, they really did that, especially after halftime. They really woke up, um, and then there was a weird thing where Aiton started playing like really good, like he remembered he was a number one overall pick a few years ago, and he played some really good basketball for about like maybe 4 or 5 minutes, and then he like did some stupid stuff to Alperen Sengun, the Rocket starting center, and he like swiped down on him at an awkward angle, and they gave him a double technical, and he was thrown out of the game. And you could tell he was confused. Everybody was confused, but they threw him out because I guess it was egregious enough. The refs thought it was to get him out the game. And I thought DeAndre was about to have a really good like second half, and then it just didn't happen. He ended up with 19 and 10. That could have been like 25 and 15. Who knows? But he remembered he was the first pick, and I always find it funny when DeAndre has the moments where he's like, "Oh, that's right. I was the first overall pick a few years ago. Let me act like it." Even though he had some dumb shots, he was still playing with some energy and some force, which you don't see a lot from Aiden. Um, and then the Rockets kept applying pressure deep into the fourth, and that's what won him this game. LeBron James uh, looked 41 this game. He looked 41 years old, 10 points, 9 assists, 8 turnovers. And the Lakers head back to La La Land. And hopefully they can continue what happened in the first, was it 3 games of this series, and not what happened in this fourth game of this series. Um, DeAndre in 19, Rui Hachimura 13, LeBron James 10, Marcus Smart 9, Luke Kennard 7, Jared Vanderbilt 8, Jake LaRavia 6, Don't Connect 8. That was probably in garbage time. Um, yeah, this was a game where the Lakers looked gas, and they looked like they just they wanted to win this game, but they didn't have they couldn't summons it up enough to sweep, and the Lakers do not sweep. The streak continues. They have not had a sweep since 2010. So we'll see if they win this series. See if they can get another sweep in the next series. I doubt it though. It's going to get harder and harder as it goes on for the Lakers. And then um, the Rockets won this game. However, I should make that clear before I make my next statement. 115 to the Lakers 96. And then a report came out this morning that um, for the Rockets, regardless of this series and what happens, I doubt they'll win it, come back 3-1, but you never know. Um, it came out this morning that the Rockets there are going to be major changes next year for the Rockets. Nobody is safe. No coach, no player is safe, and we will see what this team looks like next year. In my mind, I had thought that they were going to panic and they were going to try something risky. They were going to try to go get the reports said like Donovan Mitchell, Kawhi Leonard, Giannis, which a lot of people were parlaying for them to get Giannis instead of Kevin Durant before they got Kevin Durant. That didn't happen, obviously, but um, the overreaction is real. I said this from day one when they got Kevin Durant. I don't win, lose, draw, whatever happens. These young players gain experience, and trying to microwave a team never works. And I hope the Rockets don't overreact. I hope they at least try to keep some semblance of this team, some core of this team, because you were stinky for like 2-3 years there, and you got some really good players. You got Alperen Sengun, Ahmed Thompson, uh, Tari Eason, who's a really great defensive player. Offense needs some work, but at times there's really good moments. And I just hope they don't overreact. They don't try to microwave these leftovers once more, because they were a really good team, a really fun young team with Dylan Brooks, Jalen Green, Shangoon, Thompson, Shepard, Jabari, and then you add Kevin Durant. You have to let some of that go. Fred VanVleet gets injured, then you're stuck with this team. I don't think this team is bad. I just think they've had some of the worst luck. They had the Kevin Durant scandal with the Twitter burner account. Um, Shangun has looked okay at times. Last game previous to this one looked really good. This one looked okay-ish. Ahmed Thompson didn't take that leap you really wanted him to. He did have a couple jumpers this game that looked promising. Reed Shepard's a cone on defense. Don't know what that's about. And Jabari Smith, as Kevin Durant said in his burner Twitter rants, is a little slow. Is not savvy to concepts, really. Is just a basketball player. Um, and I hope the overreaction isn't too great, but I fear it will be for the Rockets, especially after a first round loss like this. This is devastating. Or I should say a loss. A soon to be loss for the Rockets. So we'll see. Kevin Durant didn't play this game. I didn't even have to say that. You guys probably knew that because I didn't talk about him all game. Um, yeah, that's it. That's the video. The outro should be playing right now. I kept it under 30, under 40 minutes. Pat myself on the back. Getting better every day. These playoffs are crazy, though. Like I said, schedule dependent. We'll see what time you guys get videos. Obviously, there will be videos. but the schedule's sort of weird. I know you guys got a playoff video this weekend. You can check that out as well. It's a little dated at this point, but you can check that out as well, where I cover some other games that happened this weekend and on Friday. I also have a WNBA video that I made, the top 50 players going in the next season. Their season is right around the corner, so check that out. The end screen should be playing right now. That video is on the left, playlist on the right. Check that out as well if you want to check out some more content of mine. And if you click the little icon in the middle, my icon, a little subscribe button will pop up and you can subscribe with ease. Like and comment as well. And I will see you guys next time. Cheers.